Oprah's book, What Happened to You, she states that her upbringing was very abusive, and as an adult, she became a world-class people pleaser. And that's intriguing and thought-provoking. I'm not a fan of Oprah, but I think her well-researched work, one would want to look also deeply into yourself and reflect on your childhood, what was done right, what was not, what was done wrong, and also reflect on how you're doing relationships as an adult, because she says that her upbringing affected the way that she was doing relationships. So today I decided to invite friends to talk about relationships. I am starting a relationship series. We're going to talk about different types of relationships and how we're doing relationships with people as adults, and probably we will find out how our upbringing has affected the way we do relationships. And I think also maybe like the scars that we pick up on the way to adulthood and early adulthood, those things influences. So enjoy. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Youngs. If you are new on the channel, welcome, and we'll hope you will stay. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back, fam. Welcome back. So I have my guests today. They will introduce themselves shortly.
Hi everyone, my name is Nancy. I am 32 years old and I've been married for almost 3 years now.
Nice. Hi everyone, my name is Cindy Nkosi. I am, recently 25 years old. I'm single, been single.
Okay, I think let's start with Cindy. How are you finding being single? How are you enjoying?
Honestly, I am enjoying being single because I'm getting to know myself. I think in your 20s, you have a lot of growth. A lot happens in your 20s, whether it's school, it's figuring out what you like, and I don't know. Sometimes I feel like being in a relationship can tend to create your identity based on the person instead of your individual being. So yeah, I am enjoying it. It's nice. Sometimes I want a companion, but I am enjoying being alone. Yeah.
Okay. And Nancy, are you enjoying being married?
I'm enjoying being married a lot. Not just the practical aspects of being married, having someone to do life with, but also just, having shared goals and visions and things that you're working towards with someone. I'm really enjoying being married. It's a process that really refines you as a person and prunes you a lot as a person, but I think I'm becoming a better person through marriage, and I'm forever grateful to my husband for that.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. I must say I didn't enjoy being single.
You didn't?
No, I did. No,
okay.
I did.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point I thought maybe I'll be single forever. But also it's just preparing yourself because you do not know whether you will get married or not.
Sure.
But now that I'm married, I don't miss being single.
No, I think there's a time and season for everything. For me, God, I also can't wait to get married one day, but I'm enjoying my single season. You know,
hey, single man.
Second what you're saying, because I really enjoyed my single years as well. I think it was a time of growth, a time of exploration of self and just understanding who I am, but ultimately what I want and the kind of person I want. So I think it helped a lot in that regard.
True.
Awesome. And then I think my second question would be for you, Nancy. Did you do premarital counseling?
Yes, we did.
And what did you learn?
We did do premarital counseling. I think it was termed pre-engagement counseling in our time. And you learn quite a lot. I would highly recommend it to anyone who is looking to get married to do premarital counseling. It really helps kind of clarify what the purpose of marriage is and help you to understand what marriage is all about. And for me, I felt like it really got us to ask ourselves and each other questions that we wouldn't necessarily ask if we're just dating. So we covered a range of topics and covered stuff around finances, around relationships with family, because often we forget, getting married, we think it's just the two of us, and that's not necessarily the case. You are bringing two families together. And it's a bit different in the black context compared to in other races as well. So we cover stuff around finances, around family, around communication, and really delve deep and ask each other questions that we wouldn't necessarily ask each other just on a normal date or in the course of us dating and getting to know each other. So I highly recommend, and I think it was a great experience, and really enjoyed it.
Awesome. And I would agree with Nancy. I've also done premarital. It was the best thing for us, and also just to make sure that you really want to get married. Because I think the questions, they help a lot. They're thought-provoking, and also they just prepare you for the journey ahead. I think my favorite one, I don't know if maybe it was from the couple, but they made an example of a triangle that. The triangle has got three corners. At the top it's God, and at the bottom it's Pillar and I. And we both have to be feeding
towards
and hearing from God.
That's
for
so
us
good.
to be stable. Yeah. Anyway, for you, girl, are you going on dates?
I am going on dates. Like, as much as I am single, I don't want to use the word mingle because it can be taken out of context. I am going on dates because at the end of the day, I am willing to find like my future partner, and finding your partner, you won't find your partner in the house, unfortunately. But I don't just go on any dates. Like, I firstly have to see, is this person like,
you scam them?
I scam them. Like, I will obviously, it starts with an exchange of a number, and then I'm like, while we're having that conversation before our first date, it's like, are you Christian? Small things before I even entertain the idea. Because I'm such a great person. On a date, you're gonna fall in love with me.
Okay.
It's like, okay. How do I debrief? And I think the older I'm getting and the more I am dating, I'm knowing exactly what I want. It kind of makes it harder to find my ideal partner, but I know I'm getting to know exactly what I want through trial and error.
Okay. So how does dating look like now? I don't know. I've been out of the dating game for so long. So how does it look like? Do you pay for the date?
Oh no, I will never pay for my first date. I don't even pay for. Let's say I must come to the date. You must Uber me to the date.
Alright.
You must Uber me to the date or fetch me. I still believe in pursual. In the dating stage, early days, pursue me. Like, show me that you want me. Women want to be chased. At the end of the day, we want to be chased. We want to know that we are wanted. It's like, after the date, it's like the last part. It's from the start, like, did you bring me flowers? Are you opening my door? It's like, can you be romantic? Like, romance me, like, sweep me off my feet. Type of thing. But also, just don't set the bar too high. Like, don't take me out to, let's say, what's an expensive restaurant? Like, Marble. And pay a 3,000 Rand bill. And then now we're dating and you're taking me to, like, cheap restaurants all the time. Like, keep up the pace, keep up the standard. And yes, in the first couple of dates.
Okay, so would you go to a KFC on the first date?
No. No, KFC is that we ordered in on our fourth date and we're like watching a movie. You get what I mean?
Okay.
But I do think in the beginning.
Isn't it risky to order in and do like an indoor date?
I said on the fourth date, that's when we're progressing.
But even that, would you have like a third person to watch over?
No, because like we're getting to know each other, and that's when we're practicing boundaries. Like that's when you really put, you really stick to your boundaries. If you choose no sex before marriage, in that space you're testing yourself. Then you stick to that. So
Okay. Awesome. I love hearing about the dating world. I'm sure Nancy as well.
Did you guys have to pay when you were dating? Did you go fit like half and half, or did you make the man pay?
Yeah. So fun fact, and I think the reason why Yonga is chuckling so much is because of my experience. So when I met my husband, we met on Tinder, interestingly enough. And
I'm convinced all the married people have met on a dating platform. I'm joining it.
So we met on Tinder and we spoke for about a week. And then we decided to set up our first date.
Yeah.
And so I, at the time, and I still am, was working in Pretoria, but I had meetings and stuff in Sandton on the day that our date happened to be. So I decided, no, we can meet in Sandton. He works around Joburg, so it'll be easy for him. And have our date. It was a Friday afternoon. So we meet up in Sandton and we go on our date, and it's lovely, you know. We're vibing, we're speaking, and we're enjoying each other's company, but we're also very guarded as people because we're kind of holding our cards close to our chests. And at the end of it all, to kind of sum it up, we did go 50-50.
Okay.
But the interesting thing is that I hear what you're saying, and I hear people say that all the time, but this is someone I ended up marrying, and really someone I feel God brought into my life.
That's so beautiful.
For one, I felt what my relationship did is really helped me challenge some of my long-held beliefs about what dating's supposed to look like, what I think I want versus what God knows I need.
Sure.
So it was it was a lot of learning and unlearning during that time.
Yeah.
But I mean, it formed part of our love story, and I wouldn't have done it any other way. So so
and that didn't give you like the ick or turn you off going 50-50. It was just, and I think that's okay as well. Yeah. Society has put on a lot of pressure on like gender standards. If you're okay with it, then it's fine.
And I think my metrics around that time really changed in terms of
that moment when you had to pay 50-50, going at home, what was happening? Were you like, I'm okay, I'm gonna do it again? Or you're like, okay, I'm gonna do it again and see how it goes?
So at the time, I think I was a bit like, okay, this guy just made me pay. And I drove all the way from Victoria. And I'm in Sandton and I'm with this guy and I just paid 50-50 and I'm driving all the way back to Victoria. So in the moment, there was definitely a feeling of, it was never something that I was like, oh no, I would never do. So doing it in the moment didn't really like push any red flags or anything for me. But it was a moment I felt kind of like, okay, But you know, I was like, he's a nice guy and I enjoy his company. And I kind of, you know, dismissed it off of that. So
did you ask him maybe later about, why did you make me pay? Or you just...
No.
You were just like, okay, let's move on.
Yeah, I just kind of moved on after that. And I mean, I felt like the second date made up for it completely. Because the second date was amazing. He paid for everything. He bought me flowers, he bought me chocolates.
Okay. A win for you.
Yeah.
Well done. I mean, maybe I'm just... Can I just share a little story?
Yeah.
A guy made me pay like half of the bill. And it was such a cheap bill, and I think that's what like bored me. I was like, first of all, you take me out of my house, and I had to drive, and he walked to the restaurant.
Whoa!
So like, I'm already doing a little bit more, in like kind of your situation. And then he made me pay. Like we split a very cheap bill. I could have even settled the bill myself. Then I was like, Akisho. And he's like already saying we must go on a baking date, and I'm like, Jiggy gonna make you pay for this baking date. And I hate to say it, I ghosted him. I felt bad. Maybe that could have been my husband, but
Oh, listen, I think I enjoyed the time when I was dating. I wasn't nice like you guys. I'm not going to live in my house, go on a date and pay. It's over. If you didn't cover, I had to pay. No.
That's true.
No second date.
No second, nothing.
Yeah.
Unless you have to explain yourself.
No, but why making me leave my house if you can't afford the date?
If you can explain and say, I'm sorry. Maybe I would take it, but no.
You weren't nice.
No, I wasn't that nice.
True.
All right. I think let's jump into a hectic question. Are there no sex before marriage command? Is it an outdated concept? What's your take? Who wants to start?
Okay. Well, I think it shouldn't be outdated because I'm gonna like speak from religion and experience. Um, I have like partook in like no like having sex before marriage, and it actually creates a huge soul tie. It makes it harder to practice discernment when you know the person is not for you, but then you're like sexually tied to that person. There is a reason why it is in the Bible why sex is so sacred. Like God has written everything in the Bible because He knows the consequences of doing the opposite. So if I could go back in time, I would save myself for my partner because I feel like I sometimes carry so many emotional and mental battles from that person because of like sexual soul ties. And I've like read on this. It's so real. It's so real. So I still will strongly motivate and tell people save yourself for your partner. It's gonna be so worth it because then you don't ignore the red flags because of the sex was good. You know, you just stick to what you believe in. So it shouldn't be outdated.
Definitely. I totally agree with what you're saying, and I can echo a lot of what your story is about because my story is also very similar. Sex should only be within marriage. And there's so much joy and so much freeness experiencing that with someone within marriage. It's a physical expression of what God intended marriage to be. So something that should happen within marriage. And like you say, binding yourself to different people has an effect on you when you're not married to them. There's so much beauty and so much joy and so much uninhibitedness to having sex within marriage. You're giving yourself to this person who has honored and committed to you for life, and there's something so beautiful about that. So I completely agree. It's not an outdated concept.
And I think I have the same experience, but I think but there was such a not a switch, but I think you have to mature as well in your relationship with God to say, I wanna honor God, and I wanna please Him with my all, and that includes my body. And then that changes. That changes the way you date, who you date, and I think if you wanna honor God and then say, even if you have engaged in sex before, but I think then you must say, this is the kind of man that I'm going to date, and then also I think, as you were saying that before you go on dates, you scan them. That scanning is very important, and then also it will help you to marry well. You will not just marry anyone or be like, oh yeah, we're dating, but now and again we keep on fornicating, and then that's very frustrating on your Christian journey and also on your relationship with God. But you better mature at some point. I want to honor God. And you're not doing it for anyone. You're doing it to please God, basically. So the sex, there's no sex before marriage. It's a command. And I think it would never be outdated. And I think it's such an honor to do that so well before you go into marriage. Because imagine marrying a guy that you've been fornicating with, and then I know people, they tell stories, and then it's like there's a lot that has been tainted. Trust. Will we be faithful to each other? So much things that you might question about the person. So I think honoring one another before you get married, I think it will always be a good thing and honorable to one another and to God. So, Right, I think the second one is, do you guys think we should fight to be equal with men? Love this question.
Auntie, so I think you answer first. I'll answer the hot topic first.
So to me, equality with men is not something that we should seek for, strive for, fight for. In God's eyes, we're equal with men. there's no question about our equality with the male sex in God's eyes. The only thing is, I think that people might misconstrue is that our roles are different.
Yeah.
So we are equal, but we're interdependent with one another,
Sure.
and we have different roles. And I think people ascribe value to the roles and then think we're not equal because they think perhaps because you're female, you hold in the roles that you kind of do are subservient to men, and therefore less valuable, and therefore you're not equal to men. So I don't think equality is the word, and I don't think equality is something that we should fight for with men. I think it's us realizing that we have different roles. If you think about it in the Christian context, the Trinity, Jesus, God, the Holy Spirit, they all have their own roles. But nowhere does it say, and Jesus did submit to the will of the Father, but it was never a question of Jesus seeking equality with God.
Sure.
It's kind of the three persons of the Trinity understood their role within the Trinity, and they were working towards always they had a common will always. So it was never different wills, different personalities, unequal roles per se. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I agree with Nancy as well. Equality is not a real thing in terms of so many aspects. Like, I want to put it into a financial aspect. If my partner is earning more and I'm earning less, we're still putting in our best foot forward. But I'm not going to say you putting in 50K and I'm also putting in 50K, because then that might be a huge dent on the woman or the man. And also with like emotional equality, there's times where you need to be the stronger person, the person is weaker. You can't be like, oh no, we're equal all the time. Be strong enough to be able to support me in this season. So there's times where it'll be an 80 and a 20, a 70 and a 30. I just think that, like you said, there was God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. They were all equally important, and none was competing above the other. So why should we feel like, we should do the same in relationships?
These two ladies, because I was ready for people who were like, we should, we should be fighting for equality. I think I've been exposed to a lot of
feminists.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to be a feminist. I used to be a feminist.
They are not here. Totally agree. There's really no need to fight for equality, and I think there is a way that we should love how God created things, and we should also enjoy like how He created man and woman, and how He has made us different as well. We should just enjoy each other.
Yes.
In our differences, and whether I think also we can never be able to give, like you were saying, 80, because seasons change. And so is life. So like sometimes I will have to give 80 and Pila might have to give 20.
Yes.
So basically. And I think the last one, it's fun. I think we've had a conversation about it, 50-50. What do you guys think about 50-50? Let's go back to that 50-50 now.
Let's contextualize it. Do we mean 50-50 within relationships? Do we mean, and what do we mean when we talk about 50-50?
I think at first we had said going on a date, giving 50-50, but I think now let's bring it back. I think the same question, that should we be doing a 50-50, especially let's say in a household. You can also talk about the future. This is how you can be thinking.
This is how my future man is gonna know what I want.
So I think in a future context, you can engage with the question.
Yes.
So I think if I understand your question, we're going to talk about it from perhaps running a household.
Yes,
when you come together as a married couple. So I think I remember when we did our premarital counseling, there were kind of two models, if you will, kind of presented to us in terms of how you could perhaps structure your household as a married couple. So the first was we both work, so we'd have kind of a joint pot, if you will, where we contribute jointly to the pot, and sort of covers all of our household expenses, all of our individual expenses. The other model, which we favored more, was just having a separate joint account for all of our household expenses. So we both contribute to the joint account. We have our own separate accounts for our miscellaneous things, my nails, my husband's haircuts, and whatever else. And we contribute to the joint account, and that kind of runs the household for the month. So all of our household expenses will come out of that joint account. So your water, electricity, your bond, and groceries, and whatever else. So that's kind of how we've been working it, and it really works well for us. Yeah.
So what's your take on 50-50? Are you like here 50-50?
Yeah, I'm pro 50-50. In that sense, I have no really qualms against 50-50. I feel like it works well for us. So far, we haven't had any issues with it, and I feel it really helps us understand. It really cements the feeling of us doing life together. Which was very important to me. And kind of also, I mentioned striving for goals and having visions together. You know, saving towards trips together, saving towards that air fryer, whatever we want, and kind of working towards things together. So that's kind of how we structured it.
I really like how you think. I'm going to challenge it, and I'm going to challenge it. I like that. You're giving me a different perspective of this, like, kind of like joint account as you're building together. I don't know. I think I'm so fixated on how I was raised by my parents. My dad was like the financial bag. Like my mother's money was her money, and then my father's money was my mother's money and his money. So, like, I still believe in that in terms of finances. I don't believe in the 50-50, but I do believe in 50-50 roles. Like, you buy the monthly groceries, and then as a wife, I'll be topping up what's missing throughout the month. You paying for the kids' school fees, and I'll try my best to always show up to the kids' showcases because you're working extra hard. Do you know what I mean? But also the seasons change. You can't say it's never going to be 50-50. Seasons change, and you need to be flexible. And that's how I also believe in being an independent individual in a marriage or in a partnership, to have your own income, so that when your partner, maybe there's a season, like let's say 6 months of not having any income, essentially you guys are looking at each other like, okay, what's gonna happen? He needs to be able to step up. Sure, he understands his role, and it doesn't make him less of a man than you're stepping up and paying for the bills. But I think in general, I do believe in the man providing financially for the family. I mean, it says it in the Bible that women must be submissive to a provider, and I know they didn't necessarily say in terms of content, in terms of finance, but I do believe in non 50-50, but 50-50 in different ways. You buy the groceries, I cook them.
You see, it makes sense. Definitely. And I think maybe that's 50-50, but I am not 50-50 girl.
You're not. Same.
I know I'm not at 50-50. Also, maybe I don't know, because I feel like Pilar makes more money than me. So why would there be a 50-50? I just do not believe. I do not believe in 50. It would disturb me. 50-50.
Can I preface by saying that my husband can comfortably carry all of our expenses on his salary. But like you say, the way you grew up really influences a lot about what you think about finances and how households should be structured. We grew up in a household where both parents worked, and kind of contributed. I don't know if it was 50-50, but contributed to the household.
Yeah.
And that's kind of shaped our thinking around households and expenses and things like that. And I think us pooling our resources also give us a bit more financial muscle.
Sure.
So that's why also I think it has worked well for us.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's so nice.
I guess 50-50 looks different in different households.
Yes.
Because I think if but I don't want to call it 50-50. It wouldn't work. 50-50 disturbs my brain. I'm like, what are you talking about? It disturbs my brain. So I think it works. It really works. Like Sigi said, you buy groceries, I cook them. That's my contribution.
That is my fifth.
That's my contribution. And also I think if people make just enough money, I think they can do that. But I think in a household where someone makes more money, that means they have to go 80 and one does 20, and it means just being in the kitchen and my money helps, when it's really tough.
When
I will replace the missing groceries of the month. You buy the bulk.
Yes. Thank you so much, ladies. This was amazing. I really enjoyed having you guys.
Thank you.
And having this conversation. And thank you for saying yes. All right. Otherwise, you guys must have an amazing weekend. Love your people. Honor them. Serve them well.